Welcome to the Short Council. I'm your host Trev, and here we are in week 9. You're joining us, starting at my left, the PBD All-Stars, Jeremy, Ryan, and Jake. And here, welcome. And here we're going to be talking about cosmic space trains, which also happens to be Silly Hat Day.
It's not.
None of our hats are that silly.
I obviously have the most silly hat at the table.
If you insist.
I do.
You don't, but it's very nice of you to try.
So, this week, space trains, mummies, crazy switcheroos. What did you guys think?
Crazy mind changes.
Yeah, I was a big fan of this episode.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I think as you pointed out, when it like switched to the lab,
Yep.
that was awesome.
Scooby-Doo Space Train.
Yes.
It was at first, and then, I mean, it still kind of was.
I don't remember who. I think somebody literally said, "What's with this Scooby-Doo bullshit?" when we were watching it last night.
Yeah.
There's a spooky mummy killing people on a Space Orient Express.
Who is it?
Who? It's a whodunit with Doctor Who. It's a Doctor Who done
Doctor
it.
Who done it.
Yeah, wah.
But
Okay.
it didn't really turn out to be that way.
Well,
so-
right, we got that big kind of big switcheroo, and now see, last week I was talking about how Doctor Who, I wanted to surprise me, but not by not giving me the awesome thing that it seemed to be giving me.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were like, hey, spiders on the moon. Doctor Who's like, we gotta kill the moon.
Right.
Awesome, they're gonna exterminate space spiders on the moon. Fucking titties Alfonso.
Space baby.
And then, yeah,
Right, space baby.
the reptile master.
But in this case, we were promised a Mummy on the Orient Express, and then we got something I thought a little bit more interesting than like that. Sounds like you guys agree.
Yeah. Foretold. That was kind of neat. I don't know if that's like an actual thing, but I thought the whole premise of that was really neat. That not only was it like an ancient Egyptian thing, but it was like an ancient Egyptian curse in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So you get the best of both worlds there.
Yeah, I think there's something else that bears mentioning right away is we all thought we were going to get a Clara break. Wrong. No, there's no Clara break. She forgives him essentially immediately.
She was
Right.
barely in this episode, though, still.
That's true.
That's true.
I don't know, like, I feel like I don't have any hard feelings towards Clara. I like her character, it's not bad. There's nothing like overly remarkable about her character. But in the last episode...
Are you sure, Jake? Because the show is trying to assure us that she's particularly remarkable.
I know.
She's a special impossible girl.
Yeah, I know. She's a manic pixie dream girl, one of a kind.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I get it. But I don't know. I can get over that just because I didn't, I wasn't invested in the last season because I didn't see any of the last season.
Sure.
So, but I mean,
That would make one not invested.
that's as uninvested as you can get.
Pretty much.
But I feel like in the last episode there was actual character development because you can see from the beginning of the season that their relationship, between the Doctor and the companion is getting strained, and then in the last episode there really is like actual character development and actual conflict, and at the very beginning of this one it's like, I forgot about it.
Yeah. Just kind of back to business as usual.
And here's the thing, I wasn't hoping for a Clara break. I was hoping for maybe like A story and a B story where Doctor Who actually has to go do something himself.
Right.
And then realizes he actually needs her for something because
like,
he really is in that position of power.
We talked about this last week. That it's okay, Doctor Who. You can have character development, draw it out more than episodes people will watch.
Right.
And
with her getting so upset with Claire,
she could be
with the Doctor. She could have, been gone for multiple episodes and have him go and do his own thing.
Well, I don't know though,
Or like
because I think
she's
a part of this season. You can't just get rid of her. Like I said, an A story and a B story.
Well, I mean, they've certainly done it before.
I mean, I understand.
It's not. That's not even what it's about. If she was going to make a big stand against the Doctor and go, you get out of here, and I don't want to see you no more, and I'm done. And then the next episode, she's time traveling again. It doesn't make it seem like she really meant it.
Yeah.
No, trying to make.
It's like it's like she really wanted him to come back and beg and plead. Oh, I'm so sorry, Claire.
And they did talk about that because
There's
some of that. She's talking to the blonde girl, woman, show,
Uh-huh.
TV, this episode. Well, he's not a bad guy. Maybe he is. I don't know. They tried to. I don't know. Again,
You know, Clara is too invested. I understand you're not invested, but Clara is too invested to still be questioning whether or not the doctor's a good man.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Well, I'm invested in the show.
Well, I mean, I was more just kind of making a joke about the investment comment.
Right.
I don't think she has a problem, you know, and it was well framed in the last episode because I don't think she has a problem with the doctor being a good person. I think she has a problem with the doctor being a good friend.
Yeah,
That's kind of the problem.
precisely. And that's why he tries to like do this for her, to like take her on this like date.
Yeah, but
So to
it still
speak.
has all the earmarks of the thing.
Right,
She was
yeah.
bitching about the last episode,
Yep.
and then she's like, "Oh, I forgot." You know.
You know,
Well,
He doesn't tell her. He
but-
knows there's danger. She's
but-
like, "Is there danger?" And he's like, "No."
Well, yes.
but on the other hand, this has always been the case with her and the doctor. This is what the doctor does with everybody, except before, when it was Matt Smith, she thought it was charming. Now she just is really exasperated by how tired it makes her. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
that's the difference
That's
here.
called being a bitch.
Well,
I don't know. I like her character. I can understand it though. Like he's obviously,
Yeah.
and that's the other thing is that he's not really, you know, they have a very strained relationship because he really doesn't share anything with her. He's like, you know, he expects her to go along. He wants to teach her lessons or whatever, and it's very much like teacher student. But then also, you know, that's not what she wants.
What
You
does
know?
she want?
Well, she wants to be friends with him at least.
yeah.
But
I would
it's hard
agree
to be
with that.
pierced with somebody that is, you know, a space alien that
Try
can
and travel
live forever.
You might as well be
That
trying to be
changes
friends
his
with a
form
mountain
and-
range.
You're right. Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean, he's not like her.
You might as well be friends with a star.
You kind of
Like
have
in
to.
the sky.
You kind of have to. I mean, you know, and then you know, I know that this is problematic, but to a large degree, I feel you just have to kind of accept the doctor for what he is if you want him to be involved in your life. You know. And she clearly can't let go, as evidenced by the end of the episode, where after talking to Danny,
Which I think
you know,
is
she's like,
bullshit.
"Oh
I
well,
really
I wanna go off. I was all just so silly, Doctor. Let's go off and have more adventures."
Well, okay,
in the
okay.
last
Further
episode
making
was-
her seem kind of like an idiot, like she doesn't know what she really wants, and like she was trying to do all of
Yeah,
this.
they ruined it.
Like,
I'll agree with you.
Yeah,
they
that ruined it.
But here's the thing:
Okay.
in the last episode, they did talk. She was like, you know, you keep looking down on humans, and you keep, you know, saying all this shitty stuff about us. But you're the one who's around humans all the fucking time.
You're on Earth. You're breathing our air.
Yeah, you're the guy who can't get away from her. So like he can't just say like, oh well, you know, you're important to me or whatever. Like I think a lot of that tied back into telling that little girl that she's not special. You know?
Yeah.
Where she's like, well, you didn't need
Well,
to
and
fucking
then
tell her that.
He kind of, I don't know, I mean, I'm kind of new to Doctor Who and whatever, but was anyone else kind of surprised when he was like, the blonde woman on the train saw she was the next one to go and the doctor was like, he took it on himself? Was anybody else, like, I was like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And that, I think that spoke to Clara a lot, the character, you know, like, I think there was some legitimate character development there. I agree that it was kind of bullshit, like, the whole thing, and that, you know, her at the very end of this episode being like, oh, well, I was wrong, and I'm silly, ha ha ha.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it was. But, like, the doctor, I feel like, made an effort in this one, and, like, I don't know.
It could also be argued that
And it was
he
cool
needed
too,
that.
because he was like, I can handle this. These humans can't. I can. I should take this on myself. You know,
Yeah.
it might not work out, but maybe it will. I don't know. Whatever. It's one of those gray areas.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too is that maybe, you know, I mean, it's one of those gray areas because, you know, yeah, on one hand he did save that girl's life, but then on the other hand, that really was the only way that he was going to solve it, and
Right.
he pretty much knew that at that point.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I have to be the one to be under the gun to figure this out because
Right.
everyone else is an idiot. So
Yeah.
it's very much
Yeah.
Dr. House in that way, where
Yeah.
Dr. House is always in search of the answer to a riddle, and he saves a lot of people's lives, but he's still an asshole because he doesn't actually care about the people's lives. And I'm not saying that Doctor Who is Dr. House,
No.
but I'm saying that
Said it
there is
earlier, actually.
there's a similarity there definitely. So
Right, and you know, I guess when it comes to how the Doctor values life, I guess the fact that he even went out of his way in this episode to explain that as soon as I could, I did. Every time along the way where I didn't have any way that I could save them, I accepted that they were going to have to die. And, you know, I mean, that's the thing, is that I guess it's not that he doesn't value life, but I think he's also old enough and wise enough now to know that a lot of death is essentially inevitable, and that if you allow yourself to, like, get all, you know, all hurt about it every time somebody dies, especially when it was especially when there was basically nothing that you could do. But the second he had something that he could do, which was, you know, take her feelings and guilt and memories and everything and bring it over there so that, you know, the trauma was on him, he did so. You know, and I mean, I guess, you know, I like it if we could get away from is the Doctor a good person stories for a little while. I wish we could get away from these, you know, oh my god, is the Doctor really going to just be okay with all these people dying stories for a little while? You know, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying into the conceit of the story kernel. You know, that maybe the Doctor just doesn't really care.
I think,
it's like, god damn it, yes, he cares, okay?
Well, yeah, I don't like that part, but I do like kind of putting that, like, his actions and things under a microscope. I think that makes for a good show just because, you know,
it does.
The last few times, it's always been like pretty boys who are having whimsical adventures and stuff. And
right. And I, you know, we've talked about this, I think, a couple weeks ago, where, like, this season, one of the reasons why I actually am attracted to this season, why I actually started watching Doctor Who, is because there is actual character development. The Doctor's actions are being put under a microscope and stuff. But I agree with Trevor. Let's get away from, is he a good dude or not? We already get, like, the assumption is that he is. He's, like, the good guy, you know? Even if his methods or whatever, we don't understand them, or we don't see it, or they seem callous to us, he's got the plan. So, you know, but I agree. And, you know, I
think they're trying to remind everyone that he's an alien.
That's true too.
Yeah,
and he's not
being.
he's not just an alien. He's an alien that is, like,
he's the last
super powerful
of his super
powerful.
Right.
He's not, like, omniscient, but he has vision
Close,
or whatever.
yeah.
Exactly.
Vast knowledge of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
and
and that's the other thing, is that he, you know, a lot of people have, I feel like, have forgotten, and I've seen a few episodes the last few seasons, you know. I did watch the first season of the reboot, or you know, continuation or whatever, and I feel like a lot of the Doctor Who-ness is always taken for granted, like, oh, he's just really cool, he's got all these powers, and he does stuff, and then people get to tag along for his adventures, and you know, he's constantly questioning, you know, alien races and why they're killing people, or why they're doing certain things, like, he's always the questioner. But people, I think for a long time, people just took for granted that Doctor Who is Doctor Who, but even in the name, Doctor who is he? What, you know, there's not a lot of introspection.
Who is he? What is he? Where does he come from? Something else I think what bears mentioning is what could potentially be an exciting new enemy of the Doctor. This Gus, or whatever the person who's behind the digital monocle, who, you know, invited all these people on here and intended to kill them all when it was over.
and this happened before.
I don't know, I have a feeling it's going to tie into, like, the Afterlife lady.
Good. Very well might.
Maybe. Because of the like, machine that was keeping the... Spoiler alert! Mummy was a soldier being kept alive by a broken-ish machine or something like that.
Ancient technology.
Ancient technology malfunctioning. Or
Like, maybe when the mummy dies, like, he'll show up in fucking, what is it, Halcyon or whatever.
Can I point out?
Right, that's what I'm saying though, like, maybe he'll show up in the afterlife and she'll be like, oh, you want to know?
I've noticed that, again, there seems to be like a running thread here. You know what I've seen a lot of in this episode, or in this season? Soldier relics from a war that's been long since settled.
The robot.
The robot in the first episode that were from a bunch of...
The robot from the episode where it comes to the school.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Danny is a soldier.
Danny is a soldier.
A soldier who is
The mummy was a
apparently
soldier.
dissatisfied. The mummy was a soldier,
He didn't take that one girl with him because she was a soldier.
right? The one of the characters on the Oriental Express was the conductor, I believe.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah,
soldier.
he was a
He
soldier.
said
Also,
something-
you could argue that like the crazy space slug monster with the brain eating, like he was kind of conscripted in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's some relevant themes
The
there.
doctor has issues with that.
So it's definitely like a season about soldiers and the trauma that comes with soldiering.
Yeah.
Which
But I just think it's oddly specific how many relics of a bygone war that have to remain to keep fighting something that they never intended that they would have to keep fighting
This might be thinking too much about it.
or surviving even.
Or-
you know?
But this is kind of a question in Great Britain because within the past couple of years or so, the body count from this is super depressing, and again thinking about it too much, but the body count from the Falkland Wars is less than people who survived it and have committed suicide now. Yeah,
Yikes.
yeah, no, that.
I have a feeling that probably ties into like British society.
No,
So in Britain right now, you think that
I think that especially with Afghanistan, Iraq, you know, they've always, you know.
so it's a timely issue to
Right.
Yeah,
That's a
and
good
they
point
do.
made.
Yeah, they do bring up that a lot with Danny, where he's like, well, I'm
Mhm.
not a soldier, I'm a teacher. And it's like, well, you never stop being a soldier. And, you know, that's
Yeah.
another thing too.
Yep.
So
Well-
it's always a part of you, no matter how much you try to leave
It's
it
true.
behind. And how relevant is that for the doctor?
Yeah.
And how much of him pushing away on other soldiers is him trying to forget that he was a soldier and deny that he was a soldier?
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
And for all you other doctor addicts out there, you can join us next week where we're going to discuss the next episode of Doctor Who here on the Short Council. Thanks a lot, you guys. Good night.
See ya. Right.
Peanut butter disaster.